to the Sylvan Healing Sanctuary media platform today. And the subject of today's talk with my colleague, Craig Webuck, is spirituality. See, spirituality means a myriad of different things to different people. So today, Craig and I will discuss really what spirituality means from each one of us perspective and see where it takes us. So Craig, let me start by asking you this question. What does spirituality mean to you, my friend?
It's a really lovely question, actually, and good morning to you, Feroze, and thank you. I struggle with the word spirituality because it means, as you said, a myriad of things. It's the life force, or our internal being of interest, or the spirituality of an event, walking along a riverbank and being in tune with or connected by the beauty of of nature. That can be a spiritual moment. That can be a period of time that creates something within us, an inner sense of calm. I think I struggle with the word because it's been used so much over millennia, that spirituality is almost something that we have to try to attain. We have to try to be something in order to reach something. And if we're not in that something, we're never going to get to that something. And I think that's wrong.
See, Craig, you're quite right. As you know, I did in my book, A Disciple, I asked this question to many people, and I just tell you how different the answers have been, yet in a sense the same. So okay. Before I express my own view, I'd just like to just tell you that different people from different disciplines have said it differently. So, for example, Dr. Brian Plug, a philosopher, said, this is a grand human tradition. Think of it like a well from which people of all religions drink. Dr. Richard Smith, who is a womb transplant pioneer and a surgeon, he said, spirituality is about experience a sense of the transcendental, independent of religion, a sense of something else. The Anglican priest Lucy Winkett described it as a mixture of things that help you find a way to live, like learning to love your neighbor and love yourself. It can take a lifetime, and so on. So it is different things, but probably leading to a similar place, the unseen and the unknown. I think it's about connecting with our world inside, to actually find the meaning of our life, the purpose of our existence, and why we are here, to find ourselves, not just in ourselves, but also our relationship with everything else around the world. The nature, as you suggested, Craig, other human beings, the universe of energy. It's just about oneness.
Is there a difference between spiritual and spirituality? I know that's splitting hairs, but is there a difference in your mind?
I think the problem that one gets into, if we talk about semantics, then I think we get lost in words, and maybe that's not a good question to answer, because I think then we talk about terminology. In my view, at least, it's about discovering yourself and awakening something special inside yourself, which allows you to look at the world in a more beautiful way, making us alive to this experience of being alive. I think what people commonly use as awakening, often not knowing what that means, because unless you experience awakening, you don't know what it means.
So for me, the accepting the two words, and they feel to me that they are important for an individual's own journey. So acceptance of enables one to become spiritual or spiritual, or to accept spirituality. And I think that our own individual journeys are easily found by us just being and accepting. So those three comments that you referred to are all eminent individuals who gave really beautifully and eloquent responses to what is spirituality, but they didn't say how to do it. And I think that what's really simple is that yes, I get the principles, but how do I get there? What is it that I need to do in order to get over that hurdle? Because I think that it's a huge responsibility. You are seen as a good person if you have a spiritual element or you're accepting of spirituality.
Right.
Actually, it's really simple, and I think that for me is something really important.
Craig, well, you're quite right. I think moving further away from words, I mean, you have to be able to share our experience of how one can get to that place. I think that's what you're saying, aren't you? And in my view, obviously, the way I was taught is there are two aspects to how you begin this path. The first one is to understand the significance of silence.
Of
silence.
Silence, yes.
Okay, that's a beginning, but you can go and say it's meditation, you can say it's awareness. It's all those faculties which take you away from the world outside and allow you to take the first step in the world inside. Silence I use, but it's interchangeable with meditation, with introspection, with contemplation, call it what you might. And there are techniques, of course, but the first step, the first hurdle, I would say, is humility. Because without humility, you cannot set aside yourself to make that journey. You have to set aside yourself. Of course, you can't do it completely, but you have to learn to set aside your ego so that you can move forward towards oneness.
So would you say that that there is a call for us as individual human beings? For example, a call to nature, a call to prayer, a call to silence, a call to the ability to be within oneself and listen to that sound, which is a call. And it may be the minaret, it may be the imam calling from the mosque, or it may be the sound of a bird.
Craig, of course, you're completely right. But I wouldn't call it calling, as calling implies that somebody has chosen you.
No, I don't agree with that. No, that's not what I'm saying.
All right.
It's an internal sense of calling to listen to, rather than more of a chosen.
Yeah, no, I agree. I understand what you mean. In other words, of course, with silence, you begin to listen, don't you? That's what you're saying. Yeah. I agree with you entirely. How else is going to happen? Well, actually, you listen or you open. You just open your heart, you open your mind. Yeah. But, moving that sort of thinking a little bit in the sort of, I wouldn't say a difficult area, but to take the next step on this conversation, the Sufi mystic called Sadi, he said, each soul is created for a purpose, and the light of that purpose is kindled in that soul. Now, I guess I was trying to relate to that word you use, calling, and the word soul is interchangeable. I mean, I don't think we can get fixed on that. It doesn't matter what it is. But it is something inside that is calling you, Craig. I agree entirely. And you have to listen to it. And once you start listening to it, it takes you on your journey, isn't it?
I think the doors become open into. I think the soul's journey is a deeper level to the spirituality or to the spiritual journey. The first is to listen to the call, to listen to nature, to accept that there is something that is running alongside or just underneath the surface of the living in the world. And that is the appreciation, acceptance, the sense of the world around us. And then the next thing is you start to ask a little question, well, what's my role in all of this? Yeah. What is this all about? Why am I here? I mean, how often I've heard that question. What is my life's purpose? And that can be a very difficult question to ask, and often without an answer, as opposed to it's a sense of the learning of the experiences. And that may just be all it is, just the experience of living life.
Yes, and but one shouldn't confine spirituality to this sort of vague, journey which one can't describe properly. I think spirituality also has very significant and pragmatic purpose. Certainly, in my own experience, it's taught me to understand and navigate through difficult aspects of one's human life, and yes. By that I mean surrender, acceptance, fear, particularly fear. It probably is the biggest destroyer, the biggest difficulty human beings face in their physical life. Fear taints everything. If you can reduce fear, and you can do that, in my opinion, through belief in the infinite journey of the soul. I know we're going into this, but a continuing that life does not end abruptly, and it's a one-off thing that happens by chance, and have a much more deeper understanding or belief in the journey or infinite journey of the soul, I think actually helps us in a pragmatic way to understand that this is only one chapter in many continuing chapters, maybe an infinite book, and an infinite journey. So I think side by side with discovering ourselves, as you put it, Craig, listening to our calling, there is also a learning of the way you deal with things in your physical life. That too is spirituality or spiritual learning.
Well, you know that I've often said to you, I believe this is school, and that we are here at school. We're learning. We have periods of our lives, and so some of them we pass some tests, and some of them we fail them. And when we fail them, the test comes back again in another form until we get an understanding.
I would like you to say this in the way you said it to me in one of our interviews about the tapestry. I like that analogy very much. Would you mind repeating it, if you remember?
Well, I do. It's always the image of an aspect that was put to me of the Akashic record. It's almost like the end of the meal. You get the bill of all the different things that you've eaten, and you look at the costing and you think about the service. The Akashic record is actually a tapestry of our own lives that we weave. We weave on a daily basis. Each stitch is a day. And when we pass, we have an opportunity, in theory, to look at the tapestry we weave. Of course, when we're weaving a tapestry, we don't always stand back to look at the big picture. So you then stand back at the end of your life and look at this tapestry that you've spent your life weaving, and you can see where you've dropped a few stitches and where the picture may have gone wrong, and you have to find a way to take it into account and to think about it.
Well, let me read you something which is so similar to what you said, which my own teacher, and it's in the book here. I'm trying to also sell the book. My teacher said that the following. He said that particular lifetime may be the leaf, the bud or flower in the carpet's huge floral design. But before the tapestry is completed, you can't know why. So we need to learn and progress. And Craig, on that note, I think thank you for this wonderful little chat. I
Yeah.
I hope we can continue with the other topics. I think the next one is healing,
Yes.
and the third one in our series is meditation.
I
So
look forward to it.
thank you very much, Greg.
Thank you.